This is Syed Zamir Ahmed from the Department of Biotechnology. Today we are going to see our course Immunology, and the specific topic is immunity. So what is immunity? Immunity commonly called as Noi Edirputhiran in Tamil. So when we speak in English, immunity is the body's ability to resist or eliminate potentially harmful foreign materials or any abnormal cells that are present in the cells. So that is the definition of immunity. Immunity term was derived from Latin called as immunis, which shows that it is an exam. That means state of protection from any infectious diseases is called as immunity in Latin. So immunity consists of the following activities. What are those following activities? It is a defense against invading pathogens, example like viruses or even bacteria. It removes of worn out cells. For example, some of the cells that has to be destroyed, called as example is RBCs, or any tissue debris that are formed due to disease or any injury, those cells will be removed from the body. So identification and destructions of abnormal or mutant cells, for example, primary defense against any cancer cells will lead to the destruction of certain cells, and those cells will be removed out with the help of this immune mechanism. So next is rejection of any foreign substances, rejection of any foreign cells or organs, which causes the mechanism of immunity. Inappropriate responses such as allergies, what we call generally termed as hypersensitivity. So inappropriate responses, for example, we can say that someone is having taking of seafoods has an hyperallergic reactions to them. So those food substances are normally common to all people, and some of the people get hyperacute reactions that we call it as allergies, and certain types of autoimmune diseases comes under these inappropriate responses. So this is the overview of an immune system. So immune system may be generally classified as innate and adaptive immunity. So innate is non-specific and it is the primary line of defense against any diseases or any pathogen that has entered into the system. So the second is the adaptive immunity, what we call as it is specific in nature and it is the second line of defense. While speaking about the innate immunity, it is the line of defense distinguishing between self and pathogenic but not specifies to distinguish small difference in the foreign particles. Whereas adaptive, it develops in response to infection, adapts to recognize, eliminate and remember those pathogens that has entered into the system. A typical immune response. So what is a typical immune response? So when a microorganism or a pathogen enters into the system, this happens. What happens? For primary innate immune response, rapidly responds to a broad range of microbes and then leads to an acquired immunity. So what is an innate immunity? It acts as an external defense and an internal defense. When we speak about external defense mechanism, so skin, which is present on our body. So mucous membrane that we are seeing on the surface of the body. Secretions that are present, example saliva or even the mucous membrane secretions or sebum. Those are some of the external defensive materials. So when we speak about internal defensive mechanisms, those are phagocytic cells, antimicrobial proteins, inflammatory responses, natural killer cells and complement systems that helps to eradicate or eliminate the microorganism or the pathogen that has entered into the system. While speaking about acquired immunity, it can be further classified into two major classes. One is humoral response, that is antibody mediated response, and the second one is cell mediated response, or we call it as a cytotoxic lymphocytes. Next. So what is the comparison between an innate and an adaptive immunity? So while speaking about innate and adaptive immunity, the response time that takes for an innate mechanism will be in hours, whereas we speak about adaptive, it takes days. When we speak about specificity, it is limited and it is fixed. When we speak about the adaptivity of response immunity, then it is highly diverse to various types of pathogens, improving during the course of immune responses that we acquire in the lifetime. So the response in innate immunity, it is identical or primary response is given, whereas in adaptive type of immunity, much more rapid of immune response is provided to the primary response. The major components are the various barriers present. Example is skin, phagocytic cells, recognition of molecules and so on. Whereas in adaptive immunity, lymphocytes, antigen-specific cells, antigen receptor cells and antibodies plays a major role in adaptive immune response. So primary we will see today is innate immune system. So what is an innate immune system? Is the primary defense mechanism or an external defense mechanism we are going to see now. So innate immunity has four different classes. One is anatomical, physiological, phagocytic and inflammatory barriers. First one is anatomical. So what is anatomical? Anatomically what we see, example is skin. Skin is made up of epidermal layers. So densely packed with deadly cells. So followed by mucus that prevents the entry of any foreign substances into the system. So normal flora, that is colonizing epithelial cells of mucosal surface, pathogens compete with them for attachment sites. So there will be a tough battle between the normal floras and the pathogens, so that the growth of those survivors will be there. So next one is physiological barrier. The physiological barrier is example like pH. The pH of the stomach, which is highly acidic, that prevents the entry of any pathogenic bacteria. The temperature. So for example, if there is any changes in the body, automatically the fever or the temperature rises to the body. Soluble factors like interferons, lysozyme enzymes are present that digest the bacterial or the viral proteins. So next one is the phagocytic bacteria. So next one is the phagocytic bacteria. Specialized cells perform that most of the phagocytosis, example macrophages and neutrophils are there. So inflammatory barriers such as vasodilation, capillary permeability, leukocyte inflammation, hepatitic means increased adherence are there. So first we will see about skin. So what happens when the skin acts as a barrier to invasions? We have sweat glands, that are the chemical substances that can kill the pathogenic organisms. We have tears. In tears we have lysozymes, which are the powerful digestive ability that render antigen harmless. So saliva also has lysosome which digest the pathogenic bacteria. Mucus, it traps the pathogens and sneeze or cough. For example, when we move on or when we ride a bike, some of the pathogen enters into the mucosal layer, either in the form of mouth or through nostril. We sneeze immediately. So that is a primary response that has occurred, or cough, or wash away with the help of chemical substances, and the presence of stomach acid that destroys the pathogen. So we will see the anatomical barrier. The mechanical means is the skin. We can see the dermal layers, dermis, epidermis, hypodermis. These are some of the layers of the skin. So mucosally exclaratus, the presence of which the mucus will be secreted. Flushing of eyes with the help of saliva, tears, and even urine helps in the elimination of those microorganisms. So this is the skin layer. So skin layer is stratified and confined epithelium provides a mechanical barrier. So indigenous microbiota competes with the pathogen, and acidic pH inhibits the growth of these diseases and bacterial organisms. So we will speak about respiratory tract. There are two respiratory tracts, upper respiratory tract, lower respiratory tract, and the alveoli. Upper respiratory tract, the nasal hairs that induces turbulences, mucus secretions, mucus stream that swallows the air completely, nasal secretions, and aspiratory tract containing large flora that are present. So the lower respiratory tract, so particles trapped onto the mucus, beating action of cilia causes mucillary stream. 90% of the particles gets removed away within this lower respiratory tract itself. Alveolar macrophages rapidly phagocytes those phagocytic cells. So these are some of the chemical factors that are present. For example, antimicrobial peptides that are present in the sweat, HCl in the stomach, lysozymes in the tears and the saliva, which helps in the elimination of these microorganisms. So some of the biological factors that are present, example like normal flora that are present in the body, which will fight against those entering microorganisms for food and the habitat. So genitourinary tract, for example, male, there is no bacterial urethrovascular junctions. So frequent flushing action of urine. So pH of urine helps in the growth of those microorganisms. In female, large microbial populations are seen, that is lactobacillus. Microorganism produces low pH due to the background of glycogen produced by the mucosal cell. So some of various other chemical substances that are present are C-reactive protein that are present in the liver, histamine that helps the vasodilation, Canine, small peptide normally inactive in blood. So example is granulin that causes pain. So what are the inflammatory responses we can see is redness due to heat and swelling. So whenever there is an inflammation, we causes erythema and edema, that is called as pain and swelling. So this is the inflammatory process that happens whenever there is an inflammation. The tissue gets damaged. The damaged tissue leads to the inflammatory activity. So what are leukocytes? That rapidly releases of WBC from the bone marrow that leads to the inflammatory response and the margination increase vascular permeability. So diapedesis, neutrophils migrate to those capillary walls and chemotaxis action take place. So this is how the inflammatory response and the phagocytosis occur. So once the identification of this inflammatory response is identified, some of the macrophage cells enters into the system and the pathogens are destroyed through the process of called as phagocytosis. So what are phagocytosis? Phagocytosis is the process of engulfing any microorganism and kill the complete microorganism. What are the steps on phagocytosis? One is chemotaxis, recognition and attachment, engulfment and creation of phagosomes, fusion of phagosomes with the lysosomes, and destruction and digestion leading to the residual body or exocytosis. So this is the image that represents the phagocytic processes, where in the picture 1 you can see the microbes that enters with the help of false pseudopodia, the plasma membrane is embedded. So the phagocytic cells are engulfing those microorganisms with the help of lytic enzymes. The phagocytic cells helps or kills the microorganism completely, and the residual parts are eliminated out in the sample. So today we have seen the complete the process of innate immunity. So thanks for watching the video and hope you have seen the complete video. In the next video we will see the rest of the things of immune system. Thank you so much.